Hey, it's the 5-Minute Podcast Review for Friday, February 28, 2020. 3 podcasts to run past you today. The first is Hit Parade, and I am surprised I only recently discovered it, but I've been chewing through episodes of Hit Parade ever since. So the host of Hit Parade is basically a pop music facts genius and an expert on the workings of music charts, particularly the US Billboard Hot 100. So each episode takes a deep and super well-researched dive into some aspect of the pop music industry. Could be a dive into a mini-genre like the medley tracks fad that kicked off in the early 80s by the Stars on 45's Beatles medley, if you remember that. That spawned a heap of other medley hits, including even Hooked on Classics by the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra in London. Or an episode could be a deep dive into a group or an artist and their impact on the charts, which is usually way more than you ever realise. In fact, the May 31st, 2019 episode titled The Invisible Miracle Sledgehammer combines both group and artists, telling an incredible story about the group Genesis and the success of seemingly just about any artist who had any kind of direct or indirect connection with Genesis or its individual members. And in a 7 degrees of separation kind of way, this episode pretty much convinces you that the Genesis drummer, frontman, songwriter, and simultaneously solo artist Phil Collins was the single most influential person on 80s pop music. And if you don't believe that, have a listen to the episode. For me, listening to episodes of Hit Parade is kind of like having the curtain lifted on the music industrial complex that was invisibly grinding away behind what I thought were just the random songs that have been part of the soundtrack to different stages of my life. So look, just go scroll through the episodes of Hit Parade, and if you've got any interest in music at all, I'll bet you'll end up downloading more than one episode. Alright, so that's Hit Parade. It's a fresh one to me, but highly recommended, and as always, there should be a link on your screen, or just search Hit Parade. Next up is Earshot. Put simply, Earshot is a collection of audio documentaries that first ran on Australia's ABC Radio, the nation's public broadcasting network. Now, many, probably the majority of episodes have an Australian angle, though not all. A recent episode looked at the pressure on young South Koreans, which is causing them to give up on marriage and kids. And another episode I heard recently explores polygamy in modern Malaysia. But all episodes run just 30 minutes, so they're easy listens. The production style of Earshot is very much in the well-researched, well-put-together style, typical of an NPR or BBC audio program, but with a skew to the Southern Hemisphere. The episode list is another one of those to scroll through and be pretty much guaranteed of finding more than a few subjects that catch your interest. And like I said, 30 minutes per episode makes Earshot an easy listen. Righto, let's talk about another podcast, WeCrashed. This is a 6-part series that covers the rise and fall of WeWork, the co-working space company, and in particular, its founder, the charismatic cult leader type personality, Adam Newman. You know, just as true crime is well established as a podcast genre, there's another strengthening one that could be called the rise and fall genre, and WeCrashed is a classic. The fall of WeWork and Adam Newman has been reasonably well covered in the press, but the podcast takes you inside the story with a lot of background on Adam Newman and plenty of anecdotes from people who came in contact with him. And if you've ever spent time in a WeWork co-working space, they're fantastic creative working spaces, often in some of the most expensive office real estate in cities across the world, and yet the cost to be a member or to hire a desk or office space was surprisingly affordable. Meanwhile, millionaires or billionaires were throwing money at Adam Newman with the idea that they could somehow 10x their money. And so essentially, these mega-rich investors were subsidizing your cost to hire a WeWork space. Now, how this was supposed to 10x an investment was a question no one seemed to seriously ask. But the question was ultimately answered, and the answer was that it doesn't. Which makes WeCrashed a terrific Schadenfreudian look at how being rich doesn't mean you can't be gullible. All 6 episodes of WeCrashed are up now if you want to binge it. Alright, 3 podcasts to check out there: Hit Parade, Earshot, and WeCrashed. Links to all should be on your screen, along with an email address for me if you've got any feedback, questions, or podcast suggestions. Otherwise, I'll catch you in the next episode. Thanks for listening.